Hey everybody, it's Jill, Floozie Crafts. I'm just getting my knitting all situated so we can sit down and do a sit and knit. How are you guys doing today? I'm going to work a little bit on my Stitch and Crime blanket. Stitch and Crime blanket is something that we are doing here on my channel. If you are new, thank you. I'm so glad to have you. This is the Stitch and Crime blanket Mal, and we are just doing scrap blankets. So it is scrapping time. No, scrap and crime. That's what it is, scrap and crime. I'll have it all straight for you down below. And that's what I'm working on. So today I thought we would just sit here and we would knit and we would talk. So I'll be watching my knitting quite a bit. I don't have to watch it all the time. I can, but sometimes I get like a little split in the yarn and stuff, and I'll have to look down. I also will be glancing a little bit over to take a look at my notes that I have over here for you guys. So I hope everyone is well today. We haven't done a sit and knit for quite a while, so I thought, well, let's do it. I wanted to straighten out a few things here. Had some questions about my channel since I have changed things, and I thought I would address some of that while I talk to you guys and knit. A lot of people are asking me why I decided to do a stitching fiber floozie crime. So it's pretty simple. I've always been interested in true crime as long as I can remember. But if I really had to look back on it, I think it was my experience that I had with a brush with crime. Of course, I've had more than one. Probably some that I don't realize were brushes with crime too. My second Stitch and Crime, Friday night Stitch and Crime, was Faryion Wardrip, and that was probably the catalyst for me paying more attention to true crime. And that was when I lived in Wichita Falls, Texas. I'm in West Texas now, a couple of hours from Wichita Falls. But when I lived in Wichita Falls with my first husband, he was working nights, and I was home alone. And this was in the 80s, and at that time we did not have a landline, and we also did not, of course, have cell phones yet. So I had no phone, and I was home watching TV, doing stuff. I had just finished, actually, I don't even know that the TV was turned on because I was doing dishes, and I had just finished dishes, and I heard noise on the front porch. And we were living in a little duplex, and I went to the door, and there was actually a knock at that time as I was walking towards the door. And our house was set up where the kitchen end was at the back and the bathroom was at the back, and then you walked into our bedroom, and then you walked into the living room, and that was the whole place. It was a very small duplex. You could not see the kitchen from the front door, but you could see the living room and the bedroom, and looking back into the bathroom. So then the kitchen, you had to turn this way to get into it. And through the kitchen, there was also a back door out of the back of the duplex. there was a very small, what you might call a mud room, and that was about 2 or 3 feet, and then there was a secondary door, and I kept both of those doors locked when I was home, and the front door locked when I was home by myself. Heard this knock on the front door, and I went, and thankfully we had a peephole. I looked through the peephole, and there was a man on my front porch, and at first I thought it was my husband's brother, because he looked a lot like him, and his brother was what I call squirrely looking, you know, thin, scruffy, long, kind of like shoulder length, kind of messy hair, brown hair, looked a lot like, almost kind of like sunken in at the jaw right here. Looked a lot like him, and I thought it was him at first, and I almost opened that door. And then I thought, as he's pacing, he's talking and he's pacing, and he looks aggravated, and I started to get really uncomfortable, and I realized that it was not my husband's. This was my first husband, and it was not his brother. So I turned the light off, and I backed away from the door. He became even more angry and cursing and stomping back and forth across the porch, and then all of a sudden it stopped. It was quiet. I had backed up into the bedroom, and there was an archway, and I was behind the archway. And right about that time I heard a noise, and something banged in the kitchen, and I about peed my pants, y'all. About peed my pants. And I stood there frozen, not knowing whether I was going to run out the front door where he had been standing on my porch, or if he was coming in the back door, and what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do. Like he said, no phone. Finally, everything just stayed quiet after a long while, and I couldn't tell you how long I stood there. Well, I went to go make sure that there was nobody. I peeked around and into the kitchen. There was nobody there, and the coffee pot that I had stacked up on the dishes had fallen off. It didn't break, but it fell down onto the floor. I don't know how it didn't break. That really would have scared me. And I sat there pretty scared, not sure what to do, whether I should leave, which I shouldn't leave, really not sure what to do until my husband got home. Now, I did not know until years later that was actually Faryion Wardrip on my doorstep. And I'm unable to say what exact night that he was there. However, I can tell you that he killed a girl only a few houses down and around the corner from me one night. I don't know if it was that night. She also lived in what looked almost like a duplex house as well. This brush with this really, I think, started me down the road to reading books, and I don't know why it sparked that into me, but I think it really did. My brush with that crime kind of sparked that interest in me in true crime. And I think part of it is the wanting to see criminals get caught. And it's fascinating to me how they catch them. So the forensic side of things, like how they, the DNA, of course, because this was 80s when that incident happened. There was no DNA at that time. Now, if you want to know the full story about that, you can look in my playlist, my Stitch and Crime playlist, and it is number 2 on the Stitch and Crime playlist, and it's Faryion Wardrip. So if you want to know the full story on that. So I do think that that has a lot to do with why I've been so interested in the true crime. And of course, I was, as a younger person, I was not able to spend a lot of time. I was working. I was more interested in other things. I did not watch. We didn't have cable. It was before the internet and YouTube and all of those things, so I would not have been interested in any of that. I started to read books, and the one that is my favorite as far as telling true crime would be Anne Rule. And I've read many of Anne's books and really enjoy her books. I read a lot of things that were like things I could relate to are the stories that interest me the most. So I'm doing one this Friday, which is about a hairdresser that got murdered, and that really was an interesting case to me. It was on Forensic Files and a lot of other places, and so I'm gonna be covering that this week. The Faryion Wardrip case I covered because I was very close to that case and some of the people that were involved. There's several cases that I have been very, very interested in and watched very closely because I somehow related to that. Are you guys like that in the true crime stuff? Do you relate to some of the cases, and those are the ones that are the most interesting to you? Leave me a comment down below and let me know, because I'd be interested in your input in that. Now, another thing that relates to crime in a way, and that is domestic violence. So I have not really spoken of this a lot on my channel. A few times, not really telling you a whole lot. However, I am a victim of domestic violence, and I hold that issue very close to my heart as something that I'm interested in helping other people who have been involved. And I have also family members and friends who have had things happen to them related to domestic violence. So that is another layer of the crime stuff that is a part of my interest in it. One of the things that I do, let me get a drink. It is really hot here in Texas. Really hot, you guys. We are in the hundreds, but we're going to be in the hundreds for a couple of weeks. So I am drinking my tonic water with or club soda. I go back and forth between tonic water and club soda, and the True Lemon, True Lime, True Orange, all of those I put into my water. I have my coffee here too, but I try to drink both and hydrate at the same time that I'm drinking coffee. Now, I have a domestic violence center very close to me, again in the Wichita Falls area, a couple hours away, and I regularly give things to them. I will take a couple bags of clothes. I will take, anytime I clean out my closet and it's something that I think that the women would wear, I will put that in a bag to take to them. Things that I make with my yarn, so hats, scarves, all those things, I take those kinds of things, washcloths, all that stuff to there. I use I guess it's an app, but I use it both on my phone and on my computer and on any device where I order anything from Amazon. And it's something called Amazon Smile. A lot of you've probably heard of it. I'll try to leave a link below for you guys. And what it does is you can add a place that you want to give a portion, that you want them to give a portion of what you spend to whatever place you pick. And if they are signed up for it, you can choose them. So you might look for things that are in your area and see if they are signed up for that on Amazon Smile. Sometimes all you have to do is, once you install the Amazon Smile and you log into your account and you go over to choose, they'll have you set it up to choose where you want to contribute. Sometimes just putting the name of the place in there, it will pop up for you. So I'm guessing that if it doesn't pop up, then they may not have set themselves up for that. So, but you can choose, and I have chosen the Domestic Violence Center in Wichita Falls, and it's called First Step. So I have them set up on my Amazon Smile, and a portion of, and they let me know, I can look it up by the year, or like from the first of the year to now, say, and they will tell me how much that I have actually given back from my purchases. And so that's neat. And my girls and I, when they were both living here in this area, now, you know, as you know, Chelsea lives in the New Orleans area, and my daughter Carrie lives in the Wichita Falls area, but they have not both always lived there. However, when they were both there, we volunteered one day to go down to the shelter, and it was right around Christmas time. So we got names and ages of all the children that were at the center, and we went and bought, the three of us, something we did together. We went down and we bought toys and clothes and things for the kids that were there, and according to their ages and the things, you know, and we really had a wonderful time picking stuff out and wrapping all those presents up, and then we did not meet the children. They did not allow that there, and that was fine. We didn't need to. But my daughter Chelsea was doing, I forget what they were, but they're those coverings for your nails, and she and Carrie, my daughter Carrie, they did everybody's nails, and as a hairdresser I did haircuts on the ladies, and so, and we enjoyed visiting with them, and it was just like a girls' day for them, and we had such a wonderful time. So it was a really great experience for us, and something we got to all do together too. So yeah, I do try to give back. So the domestic violence stuff is a big part of another reason why I get interested in those types of cases. So it really hits home with me, and I have a hard time, you know. Recently I was doing some more newsy stuff, and I found that it's just a little overwhelming to do so much of that. So I'm going to stick with with the stories and not so much the newsy stuff. So I feel like that I am helping. I have the helping heart. Let's put it that way, okay? So there are many, many ways that I can help with my channel. I feel like I help in lots of different ways, and that has a lot to do with why I have a channel. Starting out, I really felt like I wanted to do more tutorials, more teaching, but there's so many channels on YouTube, on the internet. There's so much out there as far as tutorials that I'm not saying I won't do any more tutorials, but I'm saying it's not going to be my focus. And just in case you guys hear him, Cerberus is going to be snoring shortly. He's starting the heavy breathing over there. The eyes are getting really heavy. If you could see him now, oh my goodness, too funny. So I wanted to do something to give back. I have gotten a lot from the community here on YouTube. I am very grateful for everything I have gotten from my Yarny community. I have gotten a lot of company. Of course, you know, during COVID, when people really didn't go as many places, a lot of us got more company. You know, even if I was able to keep you company for a little while, then that's helping, right? And another thing is, I am on a journey of, you know, I started the year, of course, if you don't know, that telling you that my word, even though it's like 2 words, I'm treating it as 1 word, and that is, my word of the year is soul feeding. So if it doesn't feed my soul, I'm not doing it. And that has been my motto since the first of the year. That's been my word. That's been a lot of the things that I am doing on the channel. I want more, you guys, than just doing the tutorials. I want more than just yarn hauls and those things. I want to feed my soul in a lot of different ways, okay? I want to learn more about the fiber arts that I am doing. I want to learn more about the crochet. I want to learn more about knitting. I want to take those things farther, okay? Do more complicated things. Learn things and do things that I haven't done yet. And expand my brain, you know. One of the reasons that I'm so happy that I am both a knitter and a crocheter, because, and that's not to say that I'm putting anybody down that's not. I'm just saying I love that I am, because it gives me a lot more variety. And I know that it's good for the brain to do a variety of things. And I still do the paper crafting. I still do the happy planners and making cards and the diamond painting and all that other stuff. I still want to learn to paint, but I don't know. I haven't experimented with it enough, but I'll get there. Probably won't do it on my channel. I'll do it on my own and learn. I'll show you guys anything I come up with, but probably not going to like show you what I'm doing. And all of these things with soul feeding, in that I am also trying to understand more about situational awareness. And I thought that it would be good to take you guys on that journey with me, because a lot of you have expressed an interest in knowing more about how to keep yourself safe. So I'm really happy that we're now going down that road together. While I learn, you learn, and I learn from you, and it's all good. Checking my notes to see if I have missed anything that I wanted to tell you. You know, we can't forget that knitting and crocheting also are therapeutic. They help to relax you. They help to heal you. I read an article one time in one of the, I don't know if it was the Crochet World or Crochet Magazine, about a woman who had a bad injury, and she was very, very depressed and having such a hard time with losing her mobility, because she was in a wheelchair, not forever, but she was in a wheelchair for a while. And she was able to learn to knit in the time that she was in. You know, what else do? You're in therapy to walk again. She was, but sitting in her chair all of that time, she needed something to do, and she taught herself to knit. And she said that helped her not only to come out of that depression she was in by learning this new skill, it also helped her to heal her body. And there is scientific proof that it helps to heal you. And it has something to do with the synapses in the brain. So the brain wants to be comfortable, you guys. Your brain wants to stay in that groove that you've got it in, and it wants to always go back in that groove. Well, if you're learning new things, you're getting it out of its groove, and you're teaching it new routes to think about. And when you do, it has an absolutely positive effect on the entire body, and you can help yourself heal by doing that. Now, I'm not saying knitting and crocheting are the only things that do that, but they are amongst the things that will. They say painting, they say, things that use different parts of the brain. I know some of you have heard this before about if you take the same route to work every single day, that your brain gets used to that. And if you take a different route once or twice a week and change it up, that's good for your brain, because it teaches it a new thing. brushing your teeth with your right hand, if you're right-handed, if you switch it up and you put it in your left hand and try to brush your teeth with your left hand, or anything else you do, it is teaching your brain new things. So it can be healing, it can be something that wakes your brain up a little bit more. I don't know all of the science, I just know that it's a real thing. So when I say it's good, it's not just me. The science is there, that it's good to always be learning, always feeding your soul and learning. So it's a real scientific thing. So that's probably about all I've got as far as what to tell you. I would like to promote empowerment for us. I would like to promote positivity on my channel, learning new things, all of that. So that's pretty much where I'm headed. And if you're wondering about the true crime stuff, now you have a better idea why I wanted to do that. And there's a great deal of people out there just like me. They knit, they crochet, they craft, and they love true crime. And as I was learning how many of my own subscribers in my own community here on YouTube was liking that, I thought, well, we're just going to do it because I love it. So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this sit and knit. If you have any questions for me, you can always reach me at fiberflooziecrafts@gmail.com. I am fiberfloozycrime on Instagram. I have the Facebook group, Fiberfloozie Crafts. Now, you guys, we're going to keep the crime out of the Facebook group, other than showing me your pictures for a Stitch and Crime, the Scrap and Crime blanket, anything that's related to projects we're doing. So that way those that are not interested in the crime related stuff still have the ability to go and enjoy the Facebook group. I thought about starting a secondary Facebook group, but it's already, now that it's getting to be larger, I think that, and having extra moderators to help me, I think having 2 would be too much for me. So I hope you understand that we're just not going to have that there. And but if you have anything that you would like to see me cover on the channel, crime related things that you'd like to, you can always email them to me, and I will definitely look them up and see if I can't do some research on them and cover them here. Okay, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Have fun today, and I'll see you Friday.